Hello everybody. For this video I want to talk about a film that I discovered, I'd say 15 to 20 years ago. It was a film that I enjoyed right away, and I've seen it about 3 or 4 times in all those years, and I like to revisit it every now and then because it is a goodie. It's a film that's not often seen. It's hard to locate, and even when you locate it, unfortunately, there do not seem to be any good, real solid prints of this movie. So the only one that exists or that is around is a 16 millimeter copy, which I got on this 2004 video from the Alpha Company. It's called Love from a Stranger, although it was also re-released under the title A Night of Terror. Okay, it stars Basil Rathbone and Anne Harding, a really good team in this film. Okay, it's a British film, directed by Roland V. Lee. And Roland V. Lee was the director who directed a couple of years later, or I think maybe 1 year later, more or less, Rathbone in the horror classic Son of Frankenstein. And that's how I got interested in seeking this film out. I love the old monster movies. I love Son of Frankenstein, and I love Basil Rathbone's unhinged, mad performance in the Frankenstein movie. When I found out several years ago now that he had this film that he did first for the same director, where he plays a similar kind of character that gets a little whacked out, I said to myself, I got to check it out because I like Rathbone and I'll watch him in almost anything. Okay, I fell in love with the movie, and I wish more people could see it. If you like old movies, if you like Basil Rathbone, if you enjoyed Son of Frankenstein, it's really worth seeing, and I'm going to get into it a little bit. Some details that I have here written down to make sure I get it right. The movie is based on the 1936 play of the same name, okay, by Frank Vosper. Now, this movie came out in 37, and the play that I'm talking about here, the play was based on a 1924 short story written by Agatha Christie. So Agatha Christie is really at the base of this. And this film was remade in 1947 under the same title. So I've never seen the 1947 version, but I can't imagine it topping the 1937 version here. Okay. The film is about a hard-working, typical uh, woman named played by Anne Harding, as I said earlier. And Anne Harding doesn't like her job. You know, she's living with a mother, I think, or an aunt, and maybe a sister. And the three women, you know, are scraping to make ends meet. Well, one day she hits the lottery and quits her job and becomes wealthy. And of course, she wants to travel the world and she wants to have a grand old time with the money. She's one that likes to have riches. You know, it's not gonna get in her way of having the life that she always wanted. Well, of course, as you can almost predict, Basil Rathbone plays a suave and slick guy that kind of edges his way into her life. And of course, he wants her money, but there's more involved than that, as we find out later in the movie. The movie starts out, the first half of it is like a rom-com in a way. It's a little comical, a little romance, you know, funny here and there. But then what happens is it gets deadly serious as poor Anne Harding discovers that the man that she thought she loved, and she actually gave up a fiance for this man, is actually a serial killer who's already disposed of, I think, 3 wives. And there's actually a book of unsolved mysteries where he's featured in the book. Okay, so as the movie progresses near the end, Basil Rathbone's character becomes more and more insane, more and more freaky and wild. And the last part of this film, I don't know how long it lasts, the last 20 minutes of this film, maybe a half an hour. I don't think it's a half an hour, but you have to see it. You have to see the end of this film. It is delightfully mad and crazy as she starts to discover that the man that she's with is out to kill her, make her wife number 4. Okay, dead wife number 4, I should say. It is a bizarre movie and quite an exciting ending. Now, the thing about this movie is that, as I say, you can't get a good copy of it. And I've believe me, I've looked, I've read up about it. There's nothing else that's available on the market except a couple of copies I've seen. One of them is this one, which I guess is the one I'd have to recommend. You know, it's not very clear. It's not the best quality, not what we're used to today from, remasters and high definition Blu-ray and 4K, but you can really enjoy it. Anyway, it's still watchable. Now, what I did was something I would never do. I took what you call the judder or the soap opera effect on my television set and went all the way up, which I never do because it gave it that much more clarity. I could really see it better the last time I watched this on my latest TV set. So I really urge people who are into this type of thing to check it out, because you won't be disappointed. I don't think it is amazing. I think, I mean, on a scale of 4 stars, I give it 3 out of 4 stars, which is good, but you have to see Rathbone's transformation into a maniac from a debonair gentleman. It's an amazing change. A lot of people say he's really over the top. He really goes full out, extra ramped up. But I actually think it works for this particular role, because he is crazy, as it turns out. I wish I could, again, not to repeat myself, I wish there was some interest in this, that somebody would be interested in restoring this, searching for better elements. I really wish, but I think there's also a copy going around from maybe Sinister Cinema. All I know of are the Sinister Cinema DVD copies and this Alpha copy. But nevertheless, from what I've read, I think the descriptions of the Sinister Cinema one are pretty much similar in quality. I think they're similar quality, maybe even the same source. Probably take it from the same 16mm print. Anyway, Love from a Stranger, aka A Night of Terror. Really worth watching. Cheers, folks.